Okay, let's move to the chapter 5. Chapter 5 is about the list and the dictionary. So the first definition of the list, and you know that we learned it's a list. Basically, in this class so far, sometimes you read it, the list already, right? The list allow a programmer to manipulate a sequence of data value of any data type. So basically, if you learn in the SDEV 120, you also learn about array, right? And you know, remember that the array, basically the array, every element in the array, they must have the same data type. But in the Python, they have no specific definition of array. They work with the list, and the list is more flexible. The list, you can accommodate for the different type of data type. Right? So basically, if you work with the other programming languages, you work with the C++ or Java, basically when you work the array, every element of the array, they must have the same data type. So think about if you want to store about the integer number, all element in that one must be on the number array. You cannot store the string and the number on the same array. But in the list of the Python, it's more flexible. So you can store for many data types of the element in the list here. Okay, so now list is a sequence of data value, item or element stored in the contiguous memory location, right? All variables, they must share the same name. And each item in the list has a unique index that specifies each position. And remember, it's always starting from 0 to the number of elements minus 1. And that's something you have to remember here. And you have many examples when you work the list. I think about you have a shopping list for grocery store, to-do list, roster for athletic game, or you can think about this one here. I have the list. I have the list for this one here, and it's that they have the same name, right? They have the same name here, and they have the same name here. It's great. And in order to separate each other, they use the index or subscript here. Subscript here. And remember, subscript always ranging from 0 to the number of element minus 1. Okay, and to create the list, the user place element inside bracket and separate by the comma here. So this one here, right? Think about I can work in the Python, in the idle, I can create this is empty list. I have no element in the list. Or I can manually put the name of the list and I assign 3 elements, 1, 2, 3 in the list. Or in the Python here, it's very useful here. I think about if you want to create a list with the 10 elements and you want to assign all of them 0, you can see you have 0 any time by the 10. So in that case, you can create a list and you have the 10 elements and all of them have the value of 0 here. Right? So if you want to load data in the list, you have to think about the loop, right? That's the process, do it again. And remember that for the loop, you have 2 types of loop. You have the definite number of iteration and you have the indefinite number of iteration, right? So for the definite number of iteration, that you know for sure how many times you want to run the loop before the loop, right? And for the indefinite number of iteration, that means it is flexible and you are the one who control how to access the loop. And normally you use the sentinel control, right? Sorry, you have to use the sentinel value. What do you think about the sentinel value? What is it? Sentinel value. What is it? Yes.
It's the value that determines when it ends.
Yeah, right. So normally it's a value that never ever happen in the real life. So think about if you keep asking user to enter a grade of all students in the class, right? So it can enter the number 90 or 80 or 75, and you store it into the list and keep doing it until user enters the -1. And the -1, you can think that is a sentinel value here, because in the real life, you never ever have students with a grade of -1. Right? And that is the one who control to access the loop here. So basically, just remember, if you want to load data into the list, the first thing you have to think that you have to use the loop here. Right? So in the case of the for loop, you see you know for sure how many iterations you want to run. You know for sure how many iterations you want to run in the loop here. So think about this one here. That a program to load data into the array, into the list with specific number of elements, right? So for each time you got the integer number from the user, right? And you see at the beginning for this one here. At the beginning for this one, when you work with the Python, you have two ways to load data, right? The first one, you can initialize all of them with the number 0 here. Right? You see, think about if I want to load H number into the array. So for this one, I create all of the H element with the number 0 here. Right? And later on, whenever I got the new number, I just override it. I override into the number 0 here, right? So see, I have user 4 here. I have the 4 loop here because this is a definite number iteration. Right? So if I enter the number 8, it runs everything from 0 to have 7 here for this one, right? So for each time you got the number and you store it into the list here, that is the name of the list, and you store it into the index here, right? So you see, starting from 0 as the second iteration, you have 1 and 2 and 3 and so on here, right? So each time, whenever you got the number, if you override the number 0, you store it initially before the loop here. Make sense? Okay. Or that is the first thing. That's the first way to store in the list. Or the second way, you can append it. Right? So you see, at the beginning, you can have the empty list here. So every number you got it, you just add it to the end of the list, append it here. So getting with this one here. That is the case when you use a Sentinel to control here, right? So think about if you want to load data into the array with specific number of elements. Sorry, not specific. This one I make mistake here. You can control with the Sentinel value here. So see. Okay, so for this one, okay, right? This program keeps asking user to enter the number and store it into the list, right? And it keeps until he enters the number negative here, right? So at the beginning here, when I initialize the list, it's empty. I have no element in the array, right? So now see, for each iteration of the loop, that is Sentinel control value here. And that is control value, right? And check if whenever it's greater than 0 or equal 0, I just add it to the end of the list here by using the append here. Append that you see at the beginning, right? I have no element in the list. So if I enter the number 9, add it to the number 9, and if I enter the number 8, add it to number 8 here. It's just add it at the end of the list. So see, I use the append here. That is a built-in method in the list here. You can use the append. So see, if I want to do the next number, I have to ask the user to ask the user again and check the condition again. So keep doing it until user enters the negative number 1 here. Okay, and of course the list of integer, it can be built by using the range. It's very simple, right? So I think I have the first list, I can manually put it here 1, 2, 3, 4, and I want to create the second list, right? So I list and use the range function here, and you know that whenever you have the range everything from 1 to 5, that means it includes the number 1 but not includes the number 5, right? That's the range function. The range function never ever includes the high number here. That's why you see when I print it out, right? When I print it out, I have the first range. Sorry, I have the first list 1, 2, 3, 4, and the second here 1, 2, 3, 4, right? And the list function also can be built from list of any iterable sequence of element. You can think about string. String actually is a list of all of the characters in the string. I think if you have the third, you have the list of high there here, right? So when you print out, you break it down into the separate character in the string. Okay, and in the list, you can use the length function. It returns how many elements in the list, and you have the empty list. You can add them together, and you can compare them together, right? You can compare them together. So think about this one. you have the first, you have the 4 element. That's why when you use the len function here, it returns that you have the 4 element. And of course, if you want to access to every specific element of the list, use a combination, right? Use a combination of the list name and the index number, right? That's why. See, that's one here. You have the list name and the index number 0. You have number 1 here. Or you can use the sliding here, right? You can use the slide here. So see, you have the 2 and 4, they print it out the element, the third element and the fourth element here. And you can concatenate them together. You can add them together. See, you have the first, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, and you add it to the other list. So we see you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 here. And you can use a comparison. It return the true. If the two list totally exactly the same. If not, it return it's a 4 here. Okay, and if you want to print the content of the list, you can use a print function here, and this also very useful here. When you work with the list here, you can use the in here to check if the element is a list or not. It's very useful build function here, right? So see, if you want to check here, is number 3 in the list 1, 2, 3 or not? It's true here, right? Because number 3 here is the list, and number 0 here in the 1, 2, 3, it returns the true. Sorry, it returns the 4 here. That's very useful, right? Of course, you can check in or not, right? You can check it in or not here. And the list is immutable. Mutable, that means you can change. You can make a change to the list here. So think about if you want to modify any value of any element in the list, you can do it. Or you can delete it element in the list, you can do it. Or if you want to insert it, or you want to append it, you can do it here. All right. So think about this one here, right? If I want to modify the element. If I want to modify the element number 4 here, that means I have to use the index number 3, right? You see, the index always starting from 0, right? So index number 0, number 1, number 2, and number 3 here. And if I want to modify it, I want to change the number 4 here to 0. I just use a combination of the list name and the index number. I change it to value number 0 here. So see, after that, I print it out. I have 1, 2, 3, and 0 here, right? And of course, you can do anything. You can do change any element in the list here. Okay, so to replace, right? So replace here, you have number for this one here, right? So think about this program. You replace every element in the you replace every element in the list by the square of that number. Right? So to do that, of course, you think about whenever you want to do with every element, you just use the loop here, right? Use the loop here, and you have the 4 index in the range from the starting number, from the starting index until the last index, right? That's why you use the range function with the len function here. So for each of the element in the list, you just replace it here. You replace the number by the square of the numbers. That's why after the process, you have the number 9, 4, 9, 16, and 25 here. You got it from the square here. You got it from square here. Okay, and remember that's the thing when you want to replace every element in the loop. Right? You can use the for loop here in the len function here. Okay, and in the Python you have many built-in functions, and you can search it in the internet. How many built-in functions you have in the loop here. I have some of the. I think I have some of the built function with the Python string function. Yeah. So we see you have many built-in functions. You have a rectangle line, and you have the pi. You have the check. It's all the number. It's all the character here. So you have many things to work with the Python. And for any homework or project, feel free to search it up on the internet. You have many built-in functions. You can use it. So basically, in the homework, it also in the homework that you have the homework that you enter the sentence, right, and you print it in the reverse order. So basically, from my point of view, I do exactly with you. I do the same. I split it out, right? And yeah, I run the loop. I for each iteration of the loop, I just add it to the new word here.
Yeah.
But I see that some of you guys they use the join function. It's a build function. It's very helpful. I have no idea before I work with this one. I just think about literally. I just run the loop and I add them together. But you can use the join function. You can use the join function. It's very helpful. So basically, yeah, you can search it up in the internet and to see what is the best solution to work with the homework. It's very interesting with the Python. Let me open this one. I think this one. Yeah. If this guy using the join function, I think it's very interesting. Yeah, in this the first one. It's a basically he do the same, right? He enters the sentence, right? He's split it up, break it into the list and separate it, right? And reverse it here. It's the reverse of the you read everything and -1, that means you reverse it, right? And so he's starting with the sentence is empty. Now he uses a join here. He uses a join method here. Very helpful. So basically I do the same with you. I do the for loop, right? I run it. So every time you add it up, add it to the sentence here. But this one you can use a join function. Very interesting. So that's why, yeah, in the Python you have the same problem, but you have many words. Yeah, so try to search it up in the internet to see if you already have the build function or not. Okay, so yeah, that's a split function, right? And see if you want to think about this one here, you have the sentence, right? And you want to convert all of the word into the uppercase. The first thing you have to use the split function. You just store it into the list, and you see for all of the word in the list here, you run the for loop, right? And you use the upper method here that you convert every word in the list into the uppercase. Okay, so we see in the list some of the Python list method here. You see you can use append. Use the add element at the end of the list. You can extend the list. That means you already have the list and you want to extend it to the another list here. And you can use the insert here. You can insert. You have to specify what is the position. It's the index number element here. And you use a pop. Sorry, you use a pop here to remove. Right, remove. You use a pop here to remove. Remove at the end. If you do not specify the index in the list, the last element in the list, and if you want to specify which element you want to delete, you can use the pop and it's the index. And you can work with the idle here. You can see how it works with the list here, right? So think about it, you open the idle, and you open the idle, you can practice with it. So I think about I have my list here. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here, and have my list. So you print it out, right? So you can see you can practice with any one of them. So think about I want to append it. I have to add my list here, and I want to append it. I want to append it. So think about append number 6 for this one, and I print out my list. So see, if you have the append and you specify the number, it automatically add it to the last element here, right? And if you have another list here, right? You think about I have a new list here. You have 7 and 8 here, and you can use the 10 here, right? So we have the my list. My list. is 10. And in that one, I use a new list here. And my list. Okay, so basically it's a join the two lists together. And of course, you have many built-in method for this one. You can use the insert here. So we think about I use the my list and insert in the number 4 is number 10 here. Okay, so see, I insert in the index number 4. So we have 0, 1, 2, and 4 here, right? 4 here, 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4 here. And I insert the number 10 for this one. And if you want to delete it, you have the two ways to delete the element in the loop. The pop here deletes the last element, and the pop in index is specify index you want to delete. I think I have my list here. And I use a pop. So delete the number 8. So I got my list here. Delete. And if I want to delete the number 10, what do I have to do here? What do you think?
My list pop position 4 or
4.
0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah.
Yes, 4, right? So my list. Again, okay. So see that is you have the all of them is a real function. You do not have to decide user use it here. Okay. I think that's all about the list. Now, so once you already have the list, you have the sum of the application. Right? You have the sum of the application when you delete it. You see, you have the in function here, right? You determine if the element present or absent, not return the position of element, right? So think about here, right? You have the program. You have the program. Think about you work in the grocery store, right? And you are the manager. In that you have many products, and each of them they have unique code here. You can think about that. So to make it simple for this one, for this store, you only have you have only 4 products, right? So program it ask user to enter product code and then print out if the code is in the list or not. Right? If it's not or not, if it's not in the list, program will print out the position. Sorry, if it's in the list, program will print out the position of that product in the list here. So for this one, right? For this one here, for this program, you will have the list here. You will have the list of the valid item. Right? So now for each time, for the program here, right? You ask the user enter product number. Right? So now when you got the product number, you have to check if the product here in the list, that means it's a valid item or not. Right? So we see use this one. If the search here, you can use the in function here. Right? Check it very useful here. So if the search here in the in function, you print it out, it will found in the list. And of course, if you want to know the position of the valid item, you use the index method. That's the index method. So when it's in the index method, you can return what is the position of the index. Right? So think about if you look on this one here. If you look on this one, come back to our example here. Where this one, right? So think about my list index. My list index number 5 here. So what I think? What is the index here? 0.
6. 0, 1, 2, 3. Yes, 6.
6?
Yeah.
4. Index here, that means it look in if you have any value, right? If you have value of the pi here. So we have 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4 here. Right?
Yeah.
It look it up, right? Okay, so and you can check 2 in my list. 2, right? 2. And you have the 10 in my list. So see, that is very helpful when you work with the list here. That is only very simple application when you work with list here. So you can use, for this one, you see, you can use the in function. You can use the in function here. You can use the in function here. In function to check if the in function is correct, right? It means I will file the list, and the index method here it return what is the position, what is subscript of the item in the list, and else if the print that is not in the list. Okay, so we can run this program. The Python. I think while I enter the number, it's not in the list. I run it again. If I enter the number Q143 here, so Q12343, it's in the list, and return the 0, 1, and 2 here. The index number 2 and element number 3. To tell you the element number 3. I have to use the plus 1 because you know that the index always starting from 0, and if you want to find the element, you have to add to 1 here. Okay, so that is some very basic application with the list. Okay, now so you can use a list with a parallel list here. You know that if you remember about parallel array, parallel array, that means the array they must have the same size. They must have the same number of elements, and each of them they are related together. I think about this one here. Again, you are grocery manager, right? So you have the list of all of the valid item, valid product, right? And each of them they have a specific price here. They have specific price here, right? So see, they are parallel array. They are parallel lists here because they have the same size. You have 1, 2, 3, 4 elements. You have 1, 2, 3, 4 elements, and each of the elements they are related together, right? You are related together. See, if you have the V475, the price here is 0.99, and so on. They are related together. So again, this program asks user to enter the product. The first step, check if it's valid product or not. And if it's valid product, you have to print it out. What is the price here? And the reason you can print it out the price because they are related together. You think about it. If I enter the Q143 here, you check, you know that this one is index number 0, this one index number 1, and this one index number 2, right? So we know that Q143 here is the index number 2. If you reaching out to the price here, that is 0, that is 1, is a 2, and you take it out. The price for the code Q1423 here is a 199. Right? Makes sense. It's very helpful when you work with the parallel array in this program here. All right. And again, if you run it again, you can start it here. So I run it, and add 7. So it's right here for 9, 7 is 129, right? Because it's matching together here. First, second, third, and the fourth. Right? So when you search it, you know the position, you know the index, right? And index here, when you know the index, you just take it out from the price. You got it here. Another application with the list it is when you work with 2-dimensional listing, right? So in that case here, so each element is represented by the 2 subscripts, not only 1. You know, so far you work with a 1-dimensional list, but this one is represented by 2 subscripts or 2 indexes. So think about this one here. If you want to store grade of all students in your class, I think about you have many students in your class here. Think about you have 30 students in the class, and each student you have the pie chart here. You have the pie chart here. So we see, in order to store it, you have to use you have to use a two-dimensional array here. I can think about, when you think about the two-dimensional array, you can think about work with the row and the column here. That's all. You work with the row and column. And remember that when we work with the two-dimensional array, you only have to think about the netted loop. I have the netted loop, the outer loop here. The outer loop for this one, it's a student here, right? 1 student, 2 students, and 3 students, and so on. And the inner loop, for each student, you have to work with the 5 step here. Right? So see, if you want to load data into the array, you have to work with netted loop. Outer loop is the number of students, and inner loop is the number of tests for each student. Right? And you can think about work with the grid line. You have to work with the row, and you have to work with the column here. So for each element in the list, it is represented by 2 subscript here. The thing about what is grade of 2 and 3 here. What do you think? What is it? Can you look it out? What is it? 2 and 3 here.
4.
Huh?
Grade for student 2 on test 3 is 64.
That is student number 3, right? That is grade 4. So student number.
Oh, yeah.
1,
It starts
2.
at 0.
Yeah. You remember that the index always starting from 0.
Always starts from 0.
Yeah, that's why if you have
Got it.
number 2 here, that means 3rd student. And the number 3 here, that means the 4th grade of the 3rd student, right? So the 4th grade of the 3rd student, you have 91. Make sense? Yeah, that's the thing. You always starting the index from number 0. That's why. Okay, so basically for this one, is that thing about when we work with a two-dimensional array, you only have to think you have to work with the netted loop. The outer loop, it is a row here. The outer loop is a row, and the inner loop, it is a column. Okay. Now think about this one here. That is a two-dimensional array. Right? So see, if you look at it clearly, I work with a netted loop here. I work with netted loop here. That is the outer loop. Right? That is the outer loop for student. That is the inner loop for test here. And for each of iteration, I got it from grade here. I and J. I, that means the number of students, and J is the number of tests for each student. Okay. So see, basically you have to do every iteration of the inner loop, and you move it to the outer loop, and you move to the next iteration of the outer loop. You can think about we run this program. To make it simple, I only have the 3 students here. Each of them 3 grades here. Right? So I have 60, I have 70, I have 80 for the first student. For the second one, I have 65, I have 75, I have 85, and for this one, I have 79, 89, 99. I can print it out here, right? So you see, I have the 3 students here. The first student, the second, and the third one. Right? It's basically working about it work like a line, grid line here. Okay, and also it's very useful when work with loop here. I thought when work the list here. Okay, you can use a build function and build method here when work with it. Some of the very common method here you can order them, right? You can order them. You sort them in the ascending order or descending order. Right? In that case, you can use a method here. Use a method here. The sort method. It automatically sort it into the ascending order. Right? And the reverse sort it into the descending order. Right? And also you have the max function return the maximum value of the list, and you have the minimum function return the minimum value. It's very useful. You do not have to divide it. Right? So basically, if you work with the other language, in order to find the max and min here, you have to write the function. Right? You have to run the loop. You have to compare every single element in the loop to find out what the max or what the min. Right? But in the Python, you do not have to rewrite the function or method. Right? So think about, let's do again about this one. Let's do about we have the you have, yeah, where?
Up one, there we go.
I think well, I have this one, I divide in the idle here. Alright, so I think about I want to mean, I want to find what the minimum here. Example. Mean. What is this? How do you use this?
You just use min and in parentheses, put example in there.
Oh, you gotta use 2 equals instead of just 1.
What?
Yeah, right on your slide, it said as greater than and less than, and then there's 2 equal signs, I believe.
What?
If you use 2 equal signs.
Where's 2 equals that?
For it, if you want minimum to be example.min, you have to use minimum equals example.min.
No. That is you use a double equal when you want to use a comparison. Now you want to find it out, right? You want to find it out. Now let's see.
Would it be minimum? And then, or like, is equal to min and then in parentheses example instead?
Yeah.
It could be its own function.
Yeah, right. So
Oh,
yeah, minimum here. So find out. Yeah, you have number 1 here, right? And you can use the same if you want to find the maximum here. And the max function here. Yeah, it's a function. So find out. Right? Yeah.
Mhm.
And you can use a sort also. So you have the example. You have a sort here. That is a method. Okay, max and min is a function. That's why you have argument. So yeah, example again. So see, it prints out in the order, right? From ascending order. And if you want to put it in descending order, you have to do the reverse here. Yeah, that's very useful. You do not have to define the function or method. Use it here. And you can see you can use it when work the homework or some of the assignment. Yeah, this is function. So remember that is function. You have to use the argument. Argument here is the name of the list. Okay. Okay. That also. Aliasing and the side effect here. So basically, you have the multiple property of the list lead to the interesting phenomenon. Think about this one here. You have the first list. You have the 3 elements, 10 and 20 and 30. Now you assign the second list equal to the first list. So actually, it will not generate the separate list. Actually, it's that reference the second to the same list here. I think about this one here. So basically for the first one, right? So if you work with for the first one here, you have the first is the name of the list of the first list, and you have 3 elements for this one, right? And the second one, you assign the second equal to the first. But for this one, actually, both of the first and second here, they are reference to the same list. Right? So whenever you change, whenever you make any change to the any element in the first list, you will automatically change it in the second list. I think about this one here. I have the first, 10, 20, and 30, and the second here. Now, if I change the second element in the list, I change it from the 20 to 99 here. The second also automatically change it because both of them they are reference to the same list. Make sense? Now what happened? What happened if I want to copy into the separate list? What I have to do? What is it?
You have to define a separate list for second.
Yes. All right. And how we do it?
You probably equals 10, 99, 30, and then change the first list. Or am I thinking of something else?
Now, if I want to think about this one here, right? If you look at this one, I have a first, I have the 10, and I have 20, I have 30 here. And if I declare the second equal to the first, actually they reference to the same list here, right? If I want to create a separate list with the second here, what I have to do? What do you think? What I have to do?
You have to second equals parentheses 10, 20, 30 parentheses in a command line.
Yeah, of course you can do it manually. You can do it manually. But think about, if you think about, you have the first, you have the 100 or 1,000 elements, and you want to copy the second list exactly every element with the same.
Just
The first digit.
What
What
second equal first? Don't
Sorry?
work. Wouldn't second equal first still wait?
No, it not work. It not work because both of them actually they refer to the same list. So anytime you change it, anytime you change any element in the first, it will impact automatically impact the second one because they refer to the same list.
Oh.
Now I want to refer to the separate list here. That is the first, that is second. And I want to copy the second, every element of the first one exactly to the second list here. What I have to do? If I want to copy every element of the first one into the separate list, how can I do?
You loop through the each index of the list and then insert it into a new list.
Yeah, right. That's all. So actually, you can have the you have many ways to do that. The first step you can create an empty list, right? And you have the loop. You run every element of the first here. So for each of the element, you just append it, right? You just append it to the second loop. Or you can generate all of the elements with the number 0, right? And so for each of element, you just replace it by the value of the first element of the first array. Okay, so in the case, right? In the case here, right? In that case here, right? In that case here, you have to create a new object and copy content of the original. I see. For think about this one here, you have if you want to reference the third to the separate list here, right? See, you have the empty list at the beginning, right? And you run here. You run for every element in the first, you just append it to the new list here. Right? Make sense? Okay.
Okay, so you're telling it that there are in fact two separate lists.
Yeah, they are separated. So
They
if
are
you
separate now.
if you change the number, if you change this number back to the number 10, sorry, back to the number 20, it not impact this because they are now they are separate. Okay, and I believe that in the homework assignment you also have to do this one.
Duly noted.
Okay, now that is everything about the list, right? That is everything about the list. Now we move to the tuple. Tuple is actually quite the same with the list. The only difference is immutable. It's immutable. That means you cannot modify it. Right? You cannot append it. You cannot change any value of the element, and you cannot delete it here. Right? You cannot delete it. Right? So, and to indicate the tuple, you use parentheses here. Right? You have the parentheses here. Think about this one here. Right? So basically, for every other method, you can use it. The same as the list. The same as the list. You can sort it. You can sort it. You can find the max and min, but you cannot modify it. You have no way to modify it because it's immutable here. So basically, you cannot append it. You cannot delete it. Right? That's just something about the tuple. Okay. So see, tuple support all the same operation as the list, except for those that change the content of the list. Support the subscripting index the same. Right? You have the index number 0, 1, and 2, 3, and so on. And methods, you have the method built-in function length, min and max the same. Right? Sliding expression is the same. The in operator to check in the tuple or not. Right? You have now do not support methods such as append, remove, insert, reverse, and the sort. Yeah, you cannot do it here. You cannot change the content of this one. And the reason that you use a tuple because the processing the tuple is a faster than processing. And set, right? Because you cannot change the content of the tuple. That's why it's a set here. So basically, we learn everything about the list and tuple already. Now we have some very simple definition of the function, right? The function. So what is the function? Function is a group of statements within the program that perform specific tasks. So whatever function it always perform a specific task here, and usually one task of a larger program, and the function can be executed in order to perform overall program tasks. And it knows what's a divide and conquer approach. Think about you have a complicated program. You can break it down and break it down into multiple modules, and each of the module you have specific tasks. Right? So you can think about that is modularized program, where the program each task with the program is its own function here. So now that is very simple definition of the function. You can think about on the left here, you have program with very long and complex program. Right? It's very hard for you to debug it and to chase down what's going on here. And you can break it down. You can break it down into multiple modules, and each of them they have specific tasks here. I think about you can break it down. You have the function number 1, function number 2, number 3, and number 4 here. So what's the benefit? Of course, it's simple code, right? When you break it down, complex code into multiple simpler code, it's very easy for you to follow up what's going on. It's a specific function here. Code review, that also very beneficial. User need to define the function one time, but you can reuse it anytime later you want, right? You just call the function and is passing the argument value here. And it's better testing and debugging, because it can test and debugging each function individually. You break it down to smaller one, and you can test and debug for each of them. And faster development, you can do it parallel, right? Think about if you have a complex program, you have to do the sequence order here. But now you break it down the module, you can assign one team to the specific module here. And easier facilitation of the teamwork. Different teamwork can write a different function here. So that is very simple definition of the function here, right? So in order to work with the function, you use a keyword here. You use a keyword. Keyword here. That means the definition. That means the definition. That is the name of function. And some functions they have the one parameter or two parameter or so on, and some functions you do not have it. So think about this one here. I have a program. It's a very simple program. Right? It's just a very simple program here. I have the function rectangle function here. I define the rectangle function. That is the name of function, and in that function you have the two parameters here. You have two parameters. That is the x and y. You can think about x is the length and y is the width, right? So whenever you have the rectangle, right, and when you have the length and you have the width, the error is that time them together. Right? So in the case of the function, if you want to take out the value, you have to use the return here to take out the value. Right? So see for this one here, that is another function. It's a main function. It's a main function. Basically, it's very helpful when you work with Python. You have to define the main function. Main function where you start the program. What's the main body of the program here. So how we work with the function here, right? So how we work with the program here. So basically, when you run this program, the first thing the program runs is the main here. We call the main function. So remember that in the program, whenever you call the function, the program will jump into the function, right? Execute everything inside the function. From the first element, from the first entry to the last entry, where. Okay, from the first entry to the last entry. So when you're done with the first entry, it comes back to the main program, right? It comes back to the main program here. So basically, you think about this one here. In this program, the first step in the program, it calls the main function. So what the main function? You got the length from the user. You got the width from the user here, right? And see, it print it out again. This function again, it calls it out the rectangle function, right? So when it calls our rectangle function here, it moves it to the rectangle function, and it passing the value of the length, it passing to the x, and passing the width, sorry, and passing the width here, it passing the value of the width, the y, and it take it out, right? Every area here is a x times y, and it return the area. And see, after this one, you print it out. What is the error here? Huh? So this one they call the parameter. That's the called one parameter. Parameter is the one you use to define the function. And this one they call the argument. Argument, that is the value you passing it into the parameter here. Right? So I think it's some of the complex definition here, but I just want you to clarify what's the difference between the parameter and the argument here. Parameter when you use to define the function. An argument is the value you passing it into the parameter of the function when you call the function. Make sense? Okay, so think about this one here. X and y parameter, and length and width, they are argument. And take the value, you passing the value into the parameter. Okay. Okay, so see, for this one, it's very simple program, right? So see, in this program here, I have the function, a rectangle or function. I have a rectangle function. For this one, so I can run it, or you can run it you can run it into the debug mode. You can see how it works with this one. Hold on. Run it here. I added the number length at 20 and the width 10. And bring down the 200 here, right? Or anytime you can use anytime with you can use here. I think about print. I have number 20 here. I have number 10 here. Let's see what is the benefit of the function here. 30, 50. Okay, so see that is one of the benefits of the function, right? I just need to define the function one time, but later on I can call the function multiple times. I see this one here. We know what is the rectangle with the length of 20 and the 10, the length of 10 and 5, and what the length of 30 and the 50. I just need to do it one time. Need to define the function one time. But later on, I can use it for multiple times. You can see it here. So see, that is very simple example, but it shows you what the benefit of the function. Okay, so when the function is called, the interpreter jump to the function execute statement in the block, right? So we can think about it. You can chase it out. You can chase it out this program again, how it works, how it execute when you call the program again. In every program, it's always starting from the main function. So when you call function, it jump into the main function here. And when you call the main function, it execute here. It execute statement in the block of the main function. It got the length, it got the width. Call out the function print here, but again in the block here, it call about the function rectangle. That's why the program has to jump it to the rectangle here. And again, it passing this one to the x, passing this one to the y. Execute what the area here. I think about you enter the number 20 and the 10 here. Area here the 200. Right? It return the value. That means it return the area 200. That's why you see when the call function, basically at the end of the process, it printed out the 200 here. So that is the way the program execute when you call the function. Remember, at any time when you call the function, you have to program jump into the function, execute every inside the block of the function. And when you're done with the function, you return it. You have to return it. You go back into the main module. Okay, and that's the definition about parameter, right? The parameter is a name of variable you use when we define the function. Right? When we define the function, think about this one. X and Y, they are the parameter, and the argument is when you passing the value into the function here. And basically, if you have the function that you want to take the argument, you only have to use the return. Right? You only have the return here. You have to use the return statement as the exit point of the function when you want to some variable of the function. And you have the sum of the Boolean function, which are true or false. I can think about is that the variable function here? You odd, that means it's true right here, and the odd the six it is a false here, and you can use that. This one is the remainder, right? This one is the remainder. Okay, and again, the main function is also if you work with a complex program, normally you have to define the main function. Main function is the entry point of every program. Right? That's the first step to work with the main function here. Think about this one here, right? You have the main function. Again, you got is the number. You figure out what is the square. Bring it down the square here, and in that function you call the square function. That's why you have to define the function here. That's a very simple function. Okay. So we got what? You already learned about the list. All right. Tuple. Now we go with dictionary here. Dictionary organize information by association, not position. So far you know that when we work with the list and the tuple, in order to access to every single element, you have to check that out based on the subscript or index. Right? You have to check that out based on the subscript or index here. So dictionary organize information by association, not the position. You can think about you open the dictionary, right? When you use the dictionary to look it up the definition of the memo here, you do not start at the page number 1. That means you do not have to chase down on the page here. But actually, you have to look it up the word beginning with the end here. Right? So data structure organized by association, they call it the table or association list. In the Python, it is dictionary, and it's associated with a set of key and with the value. So whenever you have the dictionary, you have the key and you have the value of this key here. Think about this one here. You have the phone book list here. You have the phone book list. In that you have the name and you have the phone number. You have the name and the phone number here. So that is the key. That is the value of the key. That is the key. That is the value of the key. And that is the key. That is the value of the key. Right? So basically, if you search it up in the dictionary, you search it up into the key here. You search it up in the key here, and it returns what the value of the key. The same when you look it up in the dictionary, right? And you know what is the definition of memo here. You can think memo here is the key, and the definition it is the value. It's the same with this one here. Okay, so think about here, the same, right? It's the same when work the list or when work the tuple here. If you want to define a dictionary, you can manually define it here. You can manually define it and put it into the bracket here. I think about this one. You have the phone book here. You have the 1, 2, 3. You have the 4 keys in the phone book, and each of them they have the special value. And if you want to add the new key value pair to dictionary, you use the syntax here. You have the name of dictionary, and you put the key, and you assign what the value of the key. And basically, it automatically adds to the end of the dictionary. It automatically added to the dictionary here. And of course, you can replace it, right? So we can think about you can change the value of the Chris from the 555 to 111 to the 666 777. It totally is up to you. You can use it here. You can use it here. Yes, you can change it here. So I think it should be better you practice it. You work with the idle here. You can think about idle here. You can open the idle. Okay, it should be better. I copy this one. So that is a dictionary here. So now if I want to add it for book here, I put it here. So if you want to add it here, so see you have the syntax here, you have the dictionary, and you put it inside bracket, and it's a key here. Put it here. I'm not sure. I'm not sure it will or not. Or I have to put it in the string format or not. Try it. I put it 666. That's 7. You have to put it in the string format here. Or not. Then it work. Maybe I have to put it inside the string. Yes. And put it. Now I print it again. Okay, so we automatically insert at the end of the dictionary here. And how about if I want to replace it? If I want to replace it, so I have to replace this one. Let me replace this one. I change it to sorry, same mistake. Yeah, so that is how we modify it. You insert it and modify it. Okay, now you have some. Okay, so to retrieve it, right? Retrieve it. So if you want to retrieve the value from the dictionary, you just simply write the expression in the format here. You have the dictionary name, and you just take it out the key. Right? You take the key. I think about again this one. I want to print it out. What is the phone number? What is the phone number? What's this? What's the format here? Yes, we have the phone number. Katie here. Yeah, just print it out, right? Take it out the value. So remember, this one is the key, and this one the value here. If not, return the error. I return the error here. Okay, so in that case, that it should be better. You have to work with the exception handler, right? You have to work with the exception handler. Yeah, that's right. You have the key error here, so that you have to catch this one, right? You have to catch this one. You just try it and accept it. Okay. Okay, and again, you can use the method in here. I have to check and you check if it's in the dictionary or not. If you want to, you will get method here. You can get the method. Sorry. Guess method here. If you want to get it out both of the key, right? The key and the default. What is it?
Looks like conditional.
Or you can get the get method key and the default. What is it? Let's see. Okay. Okay, so basically, I think that's the keys. Yeah. So why we have the default here?
At least based on that example, it looks like the default is just some conditional if you don't actually have that item. If you don't actually have.
Okay, let's see. Right? Let's try it. So we have phone book. Yeah.
And then if we try to use it,
Yeah. So now let's see that okay. Why not?
because the K isn't capitalized.
Yeah. Maybe. Yeah. Right. Yeah, it is different. So now, yeah, so in that case, you do not have not written anything.
If we try with David and then put in he doesn't exist as the default, maybe it'll print out saying that he doesn't exist.
Now see what happened here.
Yeah. And then after David, if you put comma.
Yeah, right. I think this one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There we go.
that is set as default. Okay, I think it's good, right? So yeah, you can avoid, but why not? It should be better that you have to return that is not here, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Then it's
Anyway,
just-
that is default here. That's default. That's the way it works default. Okay, so in the case if you want to remove the key, in the case you want to remove the key here. In the case you want to remove the key, you can use the del function here. You can use the function, or you can use the pop or key or clear that we clear everything. And you can delete the key pair from this reason. Okay, down, this remain, and this. Okay, so I think this one works the same, right? This one here, one is that they work the same, and you can clear it here. And of course, you can use the video function for this one. That is a list. That is a list. You want to list all of the items. You use the item here. Yeah. So basically, you have many ways to do that. You have the key in the phone book. You print out the key and phone book key. The phone book key that means the value, right? The phone book key that means you return the value. That's why the key in phone book. Or you can use the item here. You can use the item list everything on the same. And the core key value in the phone book item. Okay, so we print out both of the key and value or key value in the phone book item. That's a list, right? That's the list. So we can think, yeah. So that's a good, yeah. You can think about you can think about this one is the list inside the list. Right? You can think about this one is the list inside the list here. So basically you can think about this one here. That is a list. Right? But in the list here, again, you have the list. You have the list and you have the list here. That's why you see you have the key and value, and it's a phone book item, and you print that key value. That's what can print out every single element in the list. And inside that you have the two value points. Okay, and you can use a sort here. You can use a sort. You can use a sort here. The sort basically is the same with the list. The sort it out in the ascending order of the key. Ascending of the key. So we put it sorted out with the alphabet here. See, you have the quiz, you have Johnny, and you have Katie here. Okay, so here the sum of the build function here. You have the land function. You have the get, you have the pop already, you have the list key, you have the list value, you have clear, and you have for key indeed. That's everything I mentioned in the slide here. Okay, that is a way to one that come back to the example in the I think that in the module 2, right? You have everything about the conversion. You convert from the binary to the decimal, decimal to binary, and so on here. And that is the case you want to convert from the binary to into the hexadecimal. So basically, in order to represent the hexadecimal, that means for each of the digits you have the 16 value here, right? So in order to represent the 16 value, you need the 4 digit. You need the 4 digit, and you can matching them together here. All of them 0, you have 0, and all of them number 1, you have F here, right? So now you see, you write the program, right? So first thing is that you do is the dictionary here, right? So whenever we look at the number 1, what's the number 1? 0, 0, 0, 1. What is the number? What is the digit number F? You have 1, 1, 1. Right? That's the dictionary here. So that is the function here, right? So you see, the first step, you have to define the dictionary, right? Dictionary. Now you define the function here, define the function in that one. You have 2 parameters. You have the number and the table. You have number and table here, right? So at the beginning, you have the binary 0, 4 digit is the number. For each of the digit in number, you just add it into the table digit here. So basically, you see, if you enter, think about this one here. I think about, okay, let's see. This is program. This one here. Okay, so the first step, you define the dictionary. I'm matching 0 to the all of 0, 1 to all of the 1 here. So now think about this one here. You have the number, in the table parameter. So now hexa, and okay, you change it to the upper, and you use the convert here. Think about I run this program here. I run the program, I put it to I here. Okay. So what is it? Okay, it's converted, right? You have a 2 here, you have 0, 0, 1, 0, and you have the I that means number 10 here. You have 1, 0, and 1, 0 here. Let's change it down. Let's change our program, how it works here. You have the main program, in the main program, you got the hexa here. You got the hexa, the thing about is that one. I enter the 2A, and I converted everything to the upper, and after that, I call the function here. I call the function, the convert here. Call the function, convert, convert for this one. You have hexa and hexa binary table. That is a table here. You have the table, that dictionary here. And the hexa you record it here. So for this one here, okay, for the digit in the number, getting about this one, I put the 2 here. You have the 2 here. So you have the 2. What is it? It look it up in the 2, right? It look it up in the 2. It take it out 0, 0, 1 here. Right? Take it out 0, 0, 1 here. And put it. And next time you read it I. What's the I? It take it out the I here from this one. 0, 0, 1, 0, and 1, 0. That's why I bring it down. Okay, you have 2 here. Okay, so see, matching. That's a problem of matching only. 0, 0, 0, 1. Take it down. Number 2, and now 1, 0, 1, 0. Right here. And of course, you can do it any hexadecimal number. You can D, C, right. Do everything. Simple setting. Okay. Okay. The next on first that you work with a serializing object here. So now see what we have for the homework. right? Program that input the text file, program to bring the unique word in the file. Okay. So you have to. Okay, you have to bring the unique word in the file in the appended folder.
Oh, it's like making every single word alphabetical, but you have to put capital letters first. And then
I think it doesn't matter. I think it doesn't matter because when you use the sort, right, it automatically, yeah, because if you look in the ASCII code,
To do that anyway.
yeah, it always do it, right? Because if you work with an ASCII code, the upper case always lower than the lower case, right? So you can think, you can check it here. You can check it, think about David here. Let's David. Oh, right? Because the upper case here, upper case always less than the lower case, because if you look on ASCII code, you can see that. I think about in the ASCII code, upper case of A is a 65 and lower case of A is a 97. Right? That's why you do not have to care about that. That's the first thing. That's the first thing. Okay.
that's all I was really asking you. Is to just order the list, the whatever sentence.
Okay, the thing is that here, for each of the word, it only happen on one, right? So for this one, see, you have the Z and Z here, but it print out only one. So I think for the first step, you have to split it. You have to split the sentence here. Or what is it? The text from the file. Okay, so the first step, you read it from the file, right? And read it one time only. You read it into the one time only, and you split it out, right? Split it out. Split it out, and after that, you use a sort method. The sorted method, right? You use the sort method, it automatically sort it into the alphabetic order. Make sense? I think about this one here.
So.
Let me do this one here. Right? Send it here. Think about I have the sentence on this one. So sentence split it. Sorry. Yeah, right. Now you use you know that in the list you can use a sort method, right? So sentence sort it. Sorry. What is it?
Do we put sort first and then put sentence in the parentheses?
Sort.
It should be this, it should be the list, sort, sentence dot sort.
Yeah, it should be this one, right?
Sentence, yeah, sentence dot sort.
That's it.
Well, yeah, okay, so sentence isn't. What the heck?
Yeah, being that. So why I cannot sort it?
String has no attribute.
String have no sort? Really?
It looks like just a string instead of a list.
Sorry? Say again?
What
It looks
is
like just a string instead of a list with no commas in there.
the string or list, which is a weird thing.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Cause, oh, that's strange. Maybe it's just string needs a list. Does it have to be separated?
I think so because you're
I mean-
moving around objects in the list, changing the indexes of objects.
If you really want to push it, we can do sentence dot split dot sort. If you really want to go there,
Well,
but
don't you want to make like my list is equal to sentence dot split?
yeah, but I mean, you can do that, but if you want to just test it out for the sake of it, you can just smash it all together. It's a terrible way of doing it, but it is a one-liner.
And
I
and then
knew.
sort.
Yeah, right.
So that is a functional list,
Yeah.
but it's really weird because strings are technically lists of characters.
I thought. Yeah, there you go.
Uh-huh.
Okay. So now. That is almost done, right? The last step you have to cancel out every duplicate here. I think it's simple, right? You run the loop, you take it out every single element. You run the loop.
I mean,
I think, yeah, I think it should be better that you run, you have to define another list and have empty list, right? And you run every element in the older list here. You run every in the older list, and you check.
if the first element and the next element are the same.
No, you check if if any element in the new list in the old list or not. If not in the old list, you add it into the new list. If not, you do not,
Okay.
right? Yeah, I think so. All right, so I think about new list equal to empty list,
Mhm.
right? Or index in length. List. Right? Or index in length.
Well, it'd be, no, yeah, that's
Yeah.
an index. So then,
if my list index.
Yep.
In, right? You can use in
yeah,
here, right?
new
In,
list,
yeah, new list.
then you would say new list dot append.
Nothing, right? Not, I think not. Right? Not in the case, not you add it. Yeah, it's not usually or there, you do not. So new list. Append, yeah, right, append.
And then it would be my list dot, my list index.
Yeah, my list index. Right?
Mhm. Int is not iterable.
Iterable. Yes.
Iterable.
Let
What
me
is
see.
int is not iterable? What do you mean? It can increment.
Where? Where?
Or index in my list. Oh, you forgot range.
Oh, okay.
So it's all the same, just
Yeah,
there's no range.
yeah,
I don't know why it doesn't do that.
yeah, I cannot do that. Right?
Yeah. And then it should work.
Yeah. So now see, what is my list? A new list.
A new list. And then it
Yeah.
got rid of the.
Yeah, it worked, right? So yeah, I think it's,
So there's the code. So I've done this programming exercise. I got 100% because without having to remove that extra. I don't know why it doesn't. It really doesn't check for it. I did the sort and then I completely forgot to get.
I think you might do it automatically.
yeah, because it's automated, sometimes it's that input the sentence without any repetitive word.
Yeah,
That's why you have 100.
I mean, it
Yeah.
works without it, so I didn't question it.
Yeah,
It's just abusing Cengage stuff, so that's fine for me.
yeah, I think it, even that the automatic rate is very terrible. I did sometime, I believe I do everything correct, but somehow it got me.
But like, it's funny.
Yeah,
I
that-
basically.
that's why whenever you believe that you are doing everything correctly and automatic rate is not 100%, just let me know. I can check it, I can look it up. Yeah.
What did I do wrong?
Well, Cengage doesn't like you, so that's it.
I know, it freaking hates me. I'm like, the heck did I do wrong?
I mean, I just use this as a way to test how your programming skills on how to break its own automatic coding skill.
No, see.
Breaking.
No, you see, no.
Structure.
You open
Yeah,
it, but you
yeah.
have not read the file yet, right? You have to read the file. You have to read the file here, so basically you have the.
So if someone tried to test.
Yeah,
these.
my list.
I like how you told me to do this.
Well, then sure can I do
Wait. Yeah, Yeah, that is
Okay, so all I have to do is just change out that
Yeah.
for my
Okay,
list.
okay.
Yeah, okay.
And also.
Yeah. And then.
Oh, sorry, but I can't get this work, I can't get this work. Thanks for the try.
Okay, so we'll try, we're gonna try working on this thing.
And then I said, no, I don't give up. Trying to figure this out for you. Yeah. That's what I did, mostly. Also, we may have some. I've been working on something with the server.
I think this one requires very easy. This
By
one,
the way, when you log in.
this one requires the same with the
Directly
first
log in, set up L down.
you can do it on the unique list and count how many times. That's all. I think this one, when you're done with the first one, this one very easy.
I don't think it's done
Right,
very well.
so-
It does.
So you do that after the first one, right? As you see, after the first one, you are able to build it out based on the list here, the list here. So in unique list, no one repetitive here, right? So you have you have sad. That's all. That is all you list. Each of them is individual and no repetition. So now for any sentence, right? Any sentence here. So you read every word of every word of that one. And so you run the loop from this one also. Right? So see how many times I in this one, how many times I in this one, and how many times I'm in this one. I think it's very simple. You use the netted looping. use the netted loop here. The outer loop is read from the original list here. And the inner loop, you read every single element of the inner loop. And for each of the iteration, you just compare if they are the same or not, right? And they are same, you just increase the counter by 1 here. I think that's one you done with the first one. This one very simple. This one very simple. Okay, anyone, we can reserve it for the next week. Sorry, for Thursday. That's all for today. And next week I work with the lecture here because I want to speed it up for you guys to have more time to work with the final project.
Gotcha.
Okay, I